Oh, big run. Oh, he fumbled. Oh, he fumbled. Shit.
He's still.
Oh,
Big
play, Slay. Now he's about to lose his mind.
He hasn't seen the play yet.
Please tell me why he mentioned Wait a minute.
Oh my goodness, the world is truly a better place when Philly 500 melts down. Well, good morning, good people, and Eagle fans, and 49er fans. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, the Funky Chicken, and, of course, Bucky the Beaver. We have been here at the Red Brick House for every one of the Dallas Cowboys victories, and we'll be here tomorrow, hopefully with the Cowboys going against the Denver Broncos, and I hope and pray that we can get another win right then and there. And this would be huge for the Cowboys to get this, and I think it will also dictate what the Cowboys do going forward on whether or not they're going to make a move as far as the player. I hate to do this to you guys, but this is really, really important because as much as you don't really want to listen to Stephen Jones, because, you listen to Stephen Jones and you start thinking about trusting the process and, all of the things that you want to do as a Dallas Cowboy fan. It really just gets to be annoying. It's kind of like listening to Stephen Jones is like an ice pick to the skull, and nobody wants that. But, we are, you can believe, 365 days a year, we're trying to build the roster. But there are some key things with Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan that he actually was talking about. One was the future of Trayvon Diggs, and second, about trading for players. Now, here's the thing. I've said this many, many, many times before, that you get a lot of bullshit with Jerry. Jerry just shoots from the hips, and he'll say whatever's on his mind, and it may not be anywhere close. I've always said that it's kind of like they let Jerry Jones over here do Jerry Jones things, and really over here the work goes. Say what you will about Stephen Jones. You may not like him, but he's going to tell you exactly what they're doing. He's not going to bullshit you. You may not like what you hear, but he's going to tell you like it is. If Stephen Jones says they're going to do something, then I kind of believe it more than if Jerry Jones does. Now, Jerry says, hey, I like our edge rushing. I like our edge rushing room. In the same way he said, that Brandon Wheaton, he throws the prettiest pass. But when I learned this was the whole Dez Bryant situation. When the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, you can't think of the Dallas Cowboys without Dez Bryant. And that year that they finally let go Dez Bryant in the offseason, that they waited too long, you could see every time that Stephen Jones was asked about Dez Bryant, we're going to have some tough conversations about that, and we're going to sit down and things on that. You could tell when he got stone-faced that it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. Now, we've got the Cowboys. He basically is saying we're looking for edge rushing help, okay? And the question will be will they break the bank? Now, surprisingly, this is one of those things that you think about that the Cowboys have actually been really active in the trade market before the trade deadline. It doesn't seem that way, but you think about Amari Cooper. Yeah, when we were 3-5, we brought in Amari Cooper. One of the bigger season trades, giving up a number one. Trey Lance. Not going to say that was a great one, but Trey Lance, we did that, during the season, training camp. And Jonathan Mingo, another one that we did. So the Cowboys, it wouldn't be unheard of for them to make a move. The question will be, what will it be? Now, of course, we heard the rumors of Max Crosby, and then you hear the Trey Hendrickson. And this morning I'm reading an article about Jalen Phillips. But before we get to that, let's listen to a little bit, not too much. I'm trying not to hurt your ears with Stephen Jones.
Throughout the week, so we appreciate that handiwork there. What do you guys need to do to make it 2 in a row up there against the Broncos?
Well, again, if we can continue, what we're doing on offense and even improve on that, which we think we can, then, obviously we're playing well on that side of the ball. And then, just being, consistently being more consistent executing on the defensive side of the ball. We've made some steps, and we have to keep getting better. Obviously not good enough, but we've got to get better. And on the defensive side, and I think, the confidence is coming together, the energy's coming together, and in terms of, the day-to-day practice, and, that's where it starts. You got to have good practices, and, that'll bleed into the games, and hopefully, go up there and play good defense.
We saw Shoddy talking about being more involved in the defensive meetings. We saw Eberflus talking about using analytics. What in your mind has been sort of the catalyst for being better defensively at least 2 out of the last 3 weeks?
You just evolve. And, when you come in and, as I've mentioned before, this is our third coordinator in 3 years. And, last year we evolved as the season went and thought we played better the back half of the season than the first half. And, I think that's just part of a new system with new wrinkles. You evolve, and at the same time, the coordinator evolves into seeing, what his talent is.
So have we actually gotten better as a defense?
Guys do best. Of course, it was also great to, see some new faces on the field, Overshone and Revel out there moving around. So, I just think it's a matter of, going to work, chopping wood every day, and
not chopping wood.
Over, to
Jack Del Rio reference
against the Broncos, and that'll evolve.
Stephen, as president of the Cooper Beebe fan club, I would like to ask if you could confirm if he will be in the lineup again on Sunday.
Well, we're going to look at it one more time. He's borderline right now, and we'll make that call tomorrow.
What about
Certainly we miss him, and I'm in that fan club with you. I'm a big BB fan, and I know he wants to play, but we got to make sure he's ready to go.
What about with some other guys, Donovan Wilson, Trayvon Diggs?
Yeah, they're looking like they're not going to be able to go. We'll make that call tomorrow.
Diggs is not going.
But, looking like they're not going to be able to play against Denver.
Shoddy said earlier he couldn't rule out an IR stint for Diggs. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, he's had several things going on, and that pertain to past injuries, and so there's things that we're looking at there, and we hadn't ruled that out. We'll look at that tomorrow as well.
Is there any chance Trayvon has already played his final game with the Cowboys?
We hadn't even gone there. We're just obviously taking this thing week to week and trying to see how we can get him 100% healthy to where he could help us.
With Jonathan Mingo getting back in the lineup, what do you think the numbers game looks like at wide receiver? Who's active, inactive?
Diggs could have played his last game.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, he's obviously been coming fast, and we'll make that decision tomorrow as well in terms of the number of receivers we'll carry. And obviously getting everybody healthy is a great thing, but we also got, we're healthy with our numbers there. We're up to carrying 6 receivers, and we like all 6 of them, but hadn't made the final call. I mean,
Stephen Jones has got bad cell service, apparently.
Stephen, with this, with the trade deadline looming, and everybody here wants you to make all these kinds of deals, and you kind of talked about parity. Is this time of year kind of exciting for you, though? The possibility of adding something to your team mid-season to maybe put you in a position to win a division if you can.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we feel confident in this football team and feel like with the guys we got, we're in we're competing.
Here we
to win
go
a division.
with the
But,
guys we got.
You know, as I also say, we have urgency to always improve our roster, and obviously trading is one of those vehicles. You know, that you can make your team better, and always you know, feel like you're always you know, acquisitions 365 days a year, and we have urgency to always be looking for a way to make our team better. Not
In
only
other
for
words,
this
player
year, but,
acquisitions, a
for the long haul.
365-day-a-year
We're always
job.
looking for those opportunities, and obviously we're searching, you know, searching for that opportunity right now. And if the right opportunity presents itself, then certainly we'd be eager to pull the trigger. But you know, it's got to be the right situation.
Yeah, the right situation, though, is and you know, and I did work.
Gotta be
with
the
you where
right
I was
situation.
making calls and doing some things, kind of doing things like that to try and get some understanding. Is it changed a lot over the years, or is it still, you know, your pro department guys like that, or is it more like now the general managers to general managers bit?
No, I think it's. I think you utilize all your resources. I mean, obviously our pro department. You know, Alex Loomis is doing a great job there, making the calls. You know, if things start to escalate, it moves on up to Will and I, and then ultimately, if things really escalate, we'll
We'll go to Jerry.
in the mix and Coach Schottenheimer in the mix and see, you know, if we want to pull the trigger or not. But no, you use all your resources, as you know. You were in that pro department, Brian, and you're talking pro department back and forth and seeing, you know, if there's things that make sense, those get presented to all of us. You know, we all get the reports, and then if we want to pursue something, we really delve into it and have, you know, even the coaches start to watch the tape and, you know, see what their opinion is of a particular player and how they might fit. But all that's going on right now. And as you remember, Brian, there's a lot to it. And
Yes, sir.
it's got to be the right situation, and you know, not everybody's on the trading block.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things out there, and that's not necessarily always the case.
There you go.
You know, it seems like more than ever, people just throw things out to throw things out, and you know, some of it there's zero truth to, and some of it there's opportunities there. But those are all things that we're looking at right now, and certainly, if we can help ourselves and do something that would make this team better, we'd be all over it.
Stephen,
I'm going to leave it right there. But he is 100% right, because you have to literally, I would say half of what you see is just straight up bullshit. There's so much fake stuff. People are doing AI content now and just putting it out there. Not just AI pictures and things, which some of it actually looks believable till you look a little bit deeper. But AI stories. And the more and more, you know, you have to understand, I'm like a digester of information and stuff. So what I try and do, and it's harder when I have work that I have to do, is try and weed through and find out what might actually be legitimate story and what might be bullshit. And people, shout out to everybody, because everybody sends me stuff that says, hey, here we go. Or you'll hear people say, I heard the Cowboys are looking to trade. So much of this stuff is just made up or a person's opinion piece. And we all know that all you have to do is put Dallas Cowboys in there and you get a run. You just do. So, you know, he's 100% right that not everybody's, you know, you can trade for. You know, Max Crosby is a great example of that one that was just this past week. Everybody all of a sudden, look at what is it going to cost? What's the trade scenario? You know, how much better will it make? All off of one story creates all of this content. And so if you're out there, you know, who is actually holding anybody accountable for the misinformation? Everybody's moved on to the next story, to Trey Hendrickson, or now I was seeing a story where they're saying Jalen Phillips. Maybe Jalen Phillips is the one, okay? And so, like Crosby, Phillips is stuck on a losing team with no hopes of playoff contention this season. Both franchises could choose to ship off their star edge rushers in exchange for draft capital before the trade deadline. We all know a week from Tuesday it is. But one would cost the Cowboys significantly more than the other. while it might take a first-round pick or starting caliber player to get Crosby, I think it's going to take both of those. Dallas could likely take Phillips for a second or even third-round pick. Of course, the Dolphins defender has been less than impactful than Crosby. He's not Defensive Player of the Year candidate by any means, but he would immediately step up to the Cowboys' most effective pass rusher, filling one of the team's glaring weaknesses. In the recent list of players of potential to move at the deadline, with names like Trey Henderson, Max Crosby, understandably dominating headlines, it's possible the best edge rusher player to get traded in 25 will actually end up being a former first-round pick, Jalen Phillips. Yeah. Now, Jalen Phillips, the problem with Jalen Phillips is he's been injured. He was a first-round draft pick. He's had an extensive injury history, which might make the reason why the Cowboys would want him because, of course, that's a value. Only appearing in 19 games of the last 3 seasons. After suffering a torn Achilles tendon in 23 and a torn one in 24, the injury certainly impact consideration in trading out on a target and should make his costs even lower. So when I look at, and I'm kind of like, he's missed 19 games in the last 3 years. I mean, he's got 2 sacks and he's got 11 combined tackles, 8 assists. So that means he's got 3 solo tackles. Bro, why not just, at this point, if you're telling me I'm going to trade a second or a third, bro, for a guy who's injured, I'm not looking at, I think just play Donovan easy and let him develop this season. He'll get better. Play more Giovanni and Clowney, okay? Because that's basically what you're talking about here. This is one that if it's more than a 5th-round pick for a guy that's injured on the last year of his rookie deal, no. But again, that's one of the rumors that are out there. And the reality is the Cowboys, if they're going to make a move, they really need to get some oomph, okay? I don't want to just give up draft picks for somebody that's not going to really move the needle for the defense. But that's me. Now, this weekend, of course, is huge. I'm still looking for Leo because Leo seems to have gone missing with the A.J. Brown news that he's got a tweaked hamstring. I posted last night about how crazy Dan Saleo and Xander were. Xander's about to go scorched earth on the Eagles if they trade A.J. Brown. I ain't going to lie. He was pissed the hell off. So, yeah. And we got the Cowboys against Denver. The list of players on the Eagles that are injured, they are truly battered and bruised. Shout out to them for being 5-2. But their team is going to be struggling the next few weeks. They are beat the hell up. Now, this is, we're going to finish up with Get Up. A.J. Brown possibly being traded, the mystery injury, and this was before they found out that he's going to be out for tomorrow. And the Cowboys' prospects against the Denver Broncos.
Does this have to be the recipe? Like, Jalen Hurts played great, and they actually have put more on his plate. Hembo gave me a stat earlier this week as far as percentage of the offense for a team. Jalen Hurts is right now #1 in the entire league. They're counting on him for a greater percentage of their offense than any other team is counting on their quarterback, which is the last thing you usually expect with him. Is that going to be the recipe if this team is going to repeat? Is it going to be because they throw the ball and not run it?
It has to be. You're watching, and Joe just hit on it. They can't run the ball right now, and it's not just because Saquon Barkley has taken a step back or anything of that nature. They're not blocking as well, so there is no area and there's no room to run in that area. So they're going to have to throw the ball more. And I think as we talk about A.J. Brown and the trade deadline on the field and all that, so Schrags, I think to your point, yes, Howie has always acquired talent. If his hamstring is really hurt, that's one thing. If he's not, there's a lot going on that you start to question and say, hey, if it's not going to work, do you try to get something out of it?
It doesn't pass the smell test.
Right.
And that's fair to question. And Eagles people might look at us watching it right now and text me and say, what are you doing starting this? Guys, it doesn't pass the smell test, and that's fair to say.
Greeny, I struggled with this one all season long through 7 games, but after watching last week, I said, okay, I have to stop being boneheaded. Every single season is different. And what the Philadelphia Eagles did last year through the run game doesn't have any bearing on 2025.
It certainly doesn't. Saquon's
I do believe they
averaging
have to
52
play
yards.
through the pass game like J-Mac just mentioned.
The problem is you watch them throwing those moon balls. That's not sustainable. It was moon ball after moon ball, and sometimes it works, and then everyone says, hey, Hurts looks fantastic. And then other times when the moon ball isn't there, he's not going over the middle. You need more depth and variety to the passing game.
I agree with that.
Any other picks that we should know about here? As we put the picks up on the screen.
You always have.
So this is a bit odd because we just trashed the passing game, but I'd lay the 7.5 with Philadelphia here in a quick roundabout. Go back to 2000. This is an interesting spot. These two are meeting for the second time in 3 weeks. When you see that happen, the team that lost the first game covers the spread over 60% of the time the next time out because they make the adjustments where the winning team just assumes they can come out and do the exact same thing. Philly gets them here.
Everyone here is on the Eagles, which means the Giants are a mortal lock. Next game involves another team from that division, the suddenly surging Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott hoping to finally get a win against the Broncos on Sunday. That's one of two teams he hasn't beaten in his 10-year career, and he is riding high. He's got a 4-game streak of at least 3 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And we were talking about this one this morning, Harry. You were saying there's one particular key for the Cowboys if they're going to get this win in Denver.
You must have a fast start.
Gotta have a
allow
fast
you
start.
to do? Remain balanced on offense. Why is that important in this matchup? Who is the team that sacks the quarterback the most in the National Football League? The Denver Broncos. The last thing that you want to do is be one-dimensional versus that defense and that pass rush. So continue to be balanced, have that fast start, and I think the Dallas Cowboys will be okay.
I listen to Harry, and yes, that's all the right stuff, but you're a former wide receiver. This is going to be one of the best matchups when you talk about CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. On the other side, Pat Surtain, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, and Riley Moss on the other side. I want to see receivers and DBs. I want to see a fight. I want to see these guys jawing at each other after the play, much like when I used to lock Harry down in practice when we were
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I slapped him a few times. We made up.
It is an extraordinary matchup, and if Randy Moss says the Cowboys wideouts could be the best duo in the entire NFL, it makes you sit up and pay attention.
Yeah.
Obviously, those guys are ridiculously good, and the quarterback is playing at a ridiculously high level. And then there's the quarterback on the other side, Peter, that you have your eye on.
I'm fascinated by Bo Nix here because for the first 3 quarters of the first 55 minutes of that game against the Giants, Bo Nix did not look like he belonged on the same field as Jackson Dart. And then he comes alive, makes some big plays. Sean Payton, a very toxic week, obviously, with the Russell Wilson tweet. I think that was an unintended storyline they weren't expecting for. He says that he was not throwing shade on.
Get him, Russ.
I'll tell you, though, Bo Nix, this is a guy who made the big plays when they wanted him to, but you'd like to see him make the leap. This is a true test. Bo Nix versus Dak Prescott. As much as we want to talk about the wide receivers in the corners, Bo Nix, are you that guy? Let's see you go toe-for-toe with Dak because Dak is going to bring it. We know that.
I'm with you because the Broncos are a team people are talking about. Are they going to make a run at Kansas City? You're right. They were ridiculously fortunate, to say the least, to win the game last week. And then there were the Cowboys. They've been unbelievably good at home. They've been much less explosive on the road. They've lost some games that leave you scratching your head. Here are the splits. They're ridiculous. They lead the league in yards per game and points per game when they play at home. You see the enormous drop-offs on the road. My question is, and I get that it's an offensive lead, but is that offense good enough to carry this team, J-Mag? If the Eagles open the door a crack, the Commanders look like they're taking a step back. The Giants they're better, but they're not taking. If the door is going to open, it could be for the Cowboys. Are they good enough to step through it?
I believe so. The way Dak Prescott is playing right now, it's hard to believe that they can't do it. Now, yes, you just showed that. Do they play better on the road? Absolutely. But now having CeeDee Lamb back healthy, having him and George Pickens on the outside, and then Javonte Williams, he's been the guy in free agency they picked up that has been an absolute stud. And you mentioned the offense carrying him. To me, watching him last week against the Commanders was a step in the right direction because the defense played a lot better.
Put the picks up on the screen as Joe, we hear from you again. Cowboys, Denver this weekend. Fascinating game.
I have to make smart financial decisions. I did not make defensive back money or third-string wide receiver money. I have to. Yeah, you saw how I slipped
now
down
wide receiver. Third string.
Joe.
Okay.
Peter, we don't need the he does not feel bad. He was owed that from yesterday. That said, how are you going to take hard-earned Hall of Fame radio host money and put it on a defense that can't stop anybody on the road? Defense at home has crowd noise. You go into this situation, you don't get stops, you play from behind. Denver's defense knows you're throwing. They're going to pin their ears back and be all over Prescott. We're playing the Broncos here.
I think this is a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
It's a must-win because if
out of division, out of conference.
Yeah, but you want to take that next step, right? And you see the way Philadelphia and still friction there with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, that whole nine. The Commanders are plummeting. They're going downhill. Quarterback's hurt. This is a prime opportunity versus a very quality opponent in the Denver Broncos on a big stage for the Dallas Cowboys to make a huge statement.
Leave that up, Hembo. I want you to see that your buddy Hembo has your back.
40 games.
40 games. That's a lot of stuff.
Hey, can we ask producers for the footage of what year was it with the Titans you guys were on? 2012? What with
They all run.
Okay, we'll finish it there. But I have an interesting theory about the road games that we've had and the drop-off that might be a reason that won't matter this week. Stay tuned for that, good people. As always, I appreciate you guys. And I got to get out of here. Don't forget, we have at 5 o'clock today, if you are a channel member, the link will be in the community tab to join us live, 5 o'clock. And it's been going for a couple hours and stuff. The question will be will Leo show up?
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're wanted on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
Yourself.